I'm Ken with Orion Telescopes and Binoculars, and in this video we're looking at the SkyQuest XT8 Classic Dobsonian telescope. It's an 8-inch reflector on a Dobsonian base, and Dobsonian just refers to the style of the base, left and right, up and down. Very simple movements, very easy for beginners to use, very simple setup, no complicated polar lining necessary. It's just a great telescope for the family or for the beginner that just wants a really nice view of pretty much everything that's out there in the night sky. 8 inches is big enough to see all sorts of detail. Not only the moon and planets, you've got a lot of light grasp, so deep sky objects, nebulae, galaxies, star clusters, they're all within the reach of an 8-inch telescope. It always helps if you get away from the light pollution of a big city, but there are thousands of objects available in the night sky that are within reach of a telescope like this. It comes with a couple of accessories. It's a 2-inch Crayford focuser. It comes with one eyepiece, a 25mm Plössl, and a zero-power finder scope to help aim the telescope. The focuser is my favorite part. It's 2 inches, so you can add on 2-inch eyepieces to get a very wide field of view, great for those really big deep sky objects. So anyways, the Orion SkyQuest XT8 Classic. Thank you very much. Clear skies. Hi, I'm Ken from Orion, and this is the XX12I, or in telescope, Dobsonian. It's a 12-inch reflector on a Dobsonian base, and it's a little different than your average Dob for two reasons. First, the trusses. The trusses allow you to break this thing down into smaller pieces. Just imagine a 12-inch closed tube. Try getting that inside your car. It's probably not going to fit. Well, the trusses come off, and now you've got 3 or 4 small pieces that will fit in even the smallest of cars. The other reason this is a little different than your average Dob is the telescope system. Punch in what you want to see into the hand controller, and it will direct you to manually move the scope in whatever direction to go to the object that you want to see. So it tells you exactly where in the sky anything is. It comes with 2 eyepieces, a 35mm 2-inch and a 10mm 1.25 inch, a finder scope, a 9x50 finder. And one of my favorite features of the telescope is the dual-speed Crayford focuser. It's got a coarse focus and then an 11:1 reduction gear, allowing you to do very fine focusing, especially at high power. Now, a 12-inch scope like this can see a ton of deep sky objects. I mean, 12 inches pulls in so much light, you have the ability to see thousands of deep sky objects, nebulae, galaxies, star clusters, much more than just the 110 Messier objects. And then it's also got a lot of resolution for planets, so rings of Saturn, cloud belts on Jupiter. There's a lot to see with a telescope of this size. Hello, I'm Ken with Orion Telescopes, and this is the XT10G, or go-to, Dobsonian telescope. First off, it's a 10-inch reflector on a Dobsonian base, and it works like any Dobsonian in that you move it up and down, left and right to point. But this has the added ability of being fully go-to. So you punch into the hand controller down here what you want to see, and it will robotically go to the object, find it, center it, and then continue to track it throughout the night sky. So this is really not your average Dobsonian. It's got a little bit extra under the hood. A 10-inch telescope can see all sorts of faint deep sky objects, the Orion Nebula, the Andromeda Galaxy, thousands of the NGCs, which are fainter deep sky objects, as well as the moon and planets. The rings of Saturn come out in very good detail. The clouds on Jupiter are seen very easily with something like this. And since it is a tracking system, you don't have to continually nudge it to follow like you would a normal Dobsonian. It comes with a couple of accessories. An Easy Finder 2, which is a reflex sight, helps you to align to the initial 2-star alignment, or however you're going to do your alignment. You get 2 eyepieces, a 28mm 2-inch and a 12.5mm 1.25 inch illuminated Plössl to help center the stars in the crosshair. The focuser is quite nice. It's a dual speed. You have an 11:1 reduction gear here, Crayford focuser, so you get nice smooth motions. And then the computer that comes with it gives you over 42,000 objects in the database to search and find. So a 10-inch Dobsonian, I say the Dobsonians are the best bang for the buck, and this is every bit as good bang for the buck, only you get the extras with a full go-to system. Hey everyone, I'm Ken with Orion Telescopes and Binoculars, and this is the Orion XT8 Plus telescope. It looks a little different than our normal Dobsonians, and there's a good reason for that. It It's based on the classic 8-inch telescope, but we've added some new features and some accessories. So I wanted to go through some of that with you and let you know what's new about this one. First off is the color. Instead of our normal black for the classics, we've added this metallic twilight blue paint job. I think it's a little more elegant and gets away from that standard, like I said, black color scheme we've had in the past. We've added a 2-inch focuser that uses a 11:1 reduction gear. So you've got coarse focus here, and then fine focus here for when you want to really fine-tune the position of the eyepiece for a very critical focus. If you look down on the side, the tension is a little different. Our classic XT8 used a spring. Well, we modified this and use now the adjustment knob from the telescope. So you can fine-tune the tension when you move the telescope up and down to suit your needs. On the very bottom, you can see the white strip that we've put around the outside of the base. That's a little accent strip, but it works as a visibility strip at night. At night when you're looking, when you're at a star party and everything's very dark, it's sometimes hard to see the telescope. So the strip actually makes it easier to see so you don't accidentally bump the telescope with your foot or when people are walking around. Just a little more convenient to see the telescope at night. And then we've got some accessories as well that we've included with the telescope. First off, we've included a 28mm 2-inch eyepiece. And then if you look down here, we've got the 10mm high magnification eyepiece. Also a Barlow lens. This will double the power of that 10 and really zoom you in on the objects that you're looking at. And then some standard accessories, an 1.25" collimation cap to help the alignment, and then a 2 to 1.25" adapter so you can switch between the 2-inch eyepiece and the 1.25" eyepiece. And they all sit inside an eyepiece rack. This is an eyepiece rack with a 2-inch hole and then 3 1.25" holes, so all of your accessories can fit. And then something different, we also include a solar filter. Now, not only can you use the telescope at night to look at all those faint deep sky objects, but you can use this during the day to look at the sun, not lose any sleep, and see the sunspots, some of the granulation around the sunspots themselves. A nice accessory to use with a telescope. And then speaking of the telescope itself, 8 inches sucks in a lot of light. So you can use it for not only moon and planets, the rings of Saturn look amazing, cloud bands on Jupiter, but this pulls in so much light you can see all those faint objects in the sky. Not only the showpiece objects like the Orion Nebula or the Andromeda Galaxy, but thousands of other NGC objects, much fainter things as well. So again, this is the Orion XT8 Plus Dobsonian telescope. Thank you very much. Clear sky.